What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are looking at the top 5 free agents that the Lions have upcoming for 2020 that they should consider bringing back. Someone may be on here, and I'm pretty sure you guys know who that is. Let's get it started. Before we get into the video, I want to give a shout out to Ken Starter. I think that's how you say his name. He's been very active on all of my videos. I mean, shout out to all y'all. I mean, 7 Play Wave. Y'all know who you are. Okay, all of you guys have been great. But just Ken, because I said I was going to give him a shout out in this video, but I did the videos differently. This one's coming up before my other one, so I just wanted to do that now. That way you don't think I forget. But, you know, all y'all have been great. You know who you are. I can't go through everybody's name, but you know what I'm saying? Anyways, we're going to be looking at a top 5 here, and I love top 5s. I don't know about you guys, but top 5s are super fun to me. I love doing these lists. So we're looking at the 5 players that are set to become free agents from the Detroit Lions that they should consider bringing back. Doesn't mean they have to, but they should definitely consider it, and they could fill out a lot of holes that they're looking at. So let's start this thing off. At number 5, we have Logan Thomas. Okay, Logan Thomas is a depth tight end currently for us, and he actually makes a lot of sense because Logan Thomas, I feel like, is like that forgotten tight end because you think James and you think Hockenson, but everybody forgets about Thomas, even though Thomas had better statistical season than Jesse James did. Now, one thing that you have to understand is Jesse James, a lot of the time he was spent blocking, which don't discount that at all because that's huge. We needed that offensively. We needed a tight end that could help block, so he was great there, but Logan Thomas still did his thing, and if we bring back a guy like Logan Thomas, we're going to be set with our 3 tight ends, and it pretty much just makes it not even need at all. Like, we don't even have to get a draft pick here. We don't need anything for tight end. If we bring back Logan Thomas, we'll have him. We can have T.J. Hockenson and Jesse James. Potentially a guy like Isaac Nauta. We'll be good to go. He had 16 receptions, 173 yards, and a touchdown. It was the best season of his career, and he's played quarterback at one point. I don't know. I always like to bring it up when I bring up Logan Thomas, but he makes a lot of sense to bring back. He's probably not going to be super expensive. I just think it makes a lot of sense to bring him back, okay? Then you don't have to worry about tight end at all. Not very expensive. I think it's just a good move. He comes in number 5. Now, hopping in number 4, we have Shawn Melvin. Now, Shawn Melvin, you may be surprised Shawn Melvin's on here because I think a lot of people are talking about different cornerbacks, right? It's easy to talk about different cornerbacks that are going to be available, but don't forget about Shawn Melvin. Now, I think Shawn Melvin only works in a certain situation, and that is if we decide to trade Darius Slay. Now, I'm not saying I think we should, but if we decided to, I think he would make a lot of sense to bring back. Now, if we keep Darius Slay, I would like to put someone different across from him, or we could just re-sign Shawn Melvin and make him like the 4 corner or like a really big depth guy and just have Amani be the 2 or whoever else we bring in. But if we bring in someone else with Slay, then Shawn Melvin doesn't make sense because we already have Amani. I don't want to take away time from him. If we just stick with what we have, we keep Slay, honestly, I think we could be okay. I didn't mean to make that rhyme. But seriously, with Coleman in the slot, Slay on the outside, and Amani, who got a lot better last season, I think he could be the number 2 next season. I think the Lions may surprise some people and go that way, and then Shawn Melvin would make sense for depth. Now, if we get rid of Darius Slay, then we have to fill in that number 1 spot. And I don't know how exactly we're going to do that, but I think Shawn Melvin could make sense as a depth cornerback who was solid last season. Statistically, he did give up 110 pass rating, which isn't great. But one thing that I love about Shawn Melvin, when I looked at those numbers, I was super shocked. He is a great tackling cornerback, and that's what we need in this system. Cornerbacks need to be able to tackle all the man that we play when the running backs go to the outside, and Shawn Melvin is able to do that very, very well. Not the best coverage guy, but if you have to put him in certain situations, not terrible. He's a veteran. He's been around, and he can tackle very well, which I think works really well. I didn't mean to wink at you like that. My eye was kind of dry. That means I think he would work really well to bring back as a depth type of cornerback. Coming in at number 3, we have Jermaine Kearse, the wide receiver. Now, Jermaine Kearse is also a forgotten about player. I think sometimes I forget that he's even was on our team at one point because he didn't play at all last season. He had to deal with an injury that was a season-ending injury. However, there was still a lot of hype going on with Jermaine Kearse before the season started, all right? And because he had such a great training camp, Jermaine Kearse balled out during the training camp, and there was a lot of excitement because he has crazy speed. He's not super old. He's set to become 30 years old, not super old, but that injury made it so we didn't get to see it all. And he was only on that 1-year deal, so he's going to be another free agent. I think Jermaine Kearse is another guy that we could bring back this offseason. Now, if you're going to go draft someone anyways, and you have your mindset that with this deep class, I'm going to draft somebody, I don't think Jermaine Kearse makes a lot of sense because why would you have that many wide receivers? You already brought back Danny Amendola. Draft someone else, make him be the 4th. But if you don't want to worry about that, which I would not be mad at the Lions for doing, yes, I wanted to get a nice wide receiver, but at the same time, it's like, okay, man, at some point, you got to figure out what your priorities are, and I don't think that should be a priority. Yes, I would love to have a wide receiver, but hey, if you got to focus elsewhere, that's fine with me. Maybe you bring back Jermaine Kearse on a cheap deal, who looked really good in training camp, already has some familiarity with this team, and I think he would fit well with another year as a depth wide receiver and potentially a really good weapon for us to pair along with a guy like Marvin Hall. And then wide receiver is basically not a need anymore. Hopping in at number 2 is Tavon Wilson. I think this one could easily be number one if it wasn't for the guy that's at number one. I think that's how all top five top five list work. But Tavon Wilson comes in at number two here. Look, Tavon Wilson is that veteran safety that the Lions say they're looking for. The Lions say, we're looking for a veteran safety to pair along with young Will Harris and young Tracy Walker. You have one of those. That's called Tavon Wilson. Now, yeah, you can definitely try to get an upgrade there for sure, but Tavon Wilson is not an expensive free agent. He was actually graded as our top safety by Pro Football Focus on the entire season. He was our top safety. Tavon Wilson was our top safety. He could play special teams. He had 97 total tackles, a sack, 5 pass deflections. He's a solid coverage guy, but really, he's a versatile guy that moves around a lot and is a very good mentor to some of these players. Now, if you want to get someone else, bring someone else in. Maybe you just want to get a different voice in there. That's fine. But I think Tavon Wilson is definitely someone worth looking at for another cheap contract that had a really good underrated season last year to just keep with these young guys. And as they continue to improve, kind of just like diminish his role slowly. And I think that'd be a really good way to go off. And then finally, coming in number one, you already know who it is. It's Graham Glasgow, man. I mean, come on, dog. Graham Glasgow. I can make an argument all day. I don't really think I need to. He plays on interior line positions. He's maybe one of our best offensive linemen other than Frank Ragnow, but he's super reliable, could do a whole bunch of different things. And yes, he wants a lot of money, probably, but if we lose him, we're going to have a huge hole to fill with the left guard position already being like this and the right tackle position being like this. Right guard is going to be a huge opening. If we can bring back Graham Glasgow, that kind of just says, okay, now we have less needs on offensive end. If we focus on defense, we could add a little bit to the line, but mainly focus on defense. So Graham Glasgow is definitely an interesting one. If he wants too much, I understand. Maybe he doesn't accept a contract, I understand. But if you can, maybe this is definitely a guy to consider. So that is my top five. Who would you put on your top five? Obviously, there's a lot of players here. I could put everybody on here. But these are 5 guys that I really think the Lions should be possibly looking to re-sign, or at least making a deal for all of these guys. I mean, I really think that could make sense, especially with Shawn Melvin in a certain situation. I don't know exactly, if you kept Darius Slay, I don't know if you really need to bring him back because you're probably going to bring someone else in anyways. It's a weird thing with him. I already explained that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.